My wife had asked me today if I was nervous, and I thought, nah, I teach every day, I lecture to groups of people, but I'm going to tell you I'm a little nervous right now. Because this is very different. It's an odd feeling to be in a space with people who have taught you, and I feel incredibly grateful for that. This place has been my home several times, and I can tell you that there's a heart that beats in there. I think there's something in terms of personal amends. I've spoken with some individuals who were not born in America, and sort of the longer you're gone from your home, there are these parts of you that begin to become really melodramatic, but also you start to feel at odds. You may never feel exactly at home in a new place, and yet you are in a new place and you don't really fit back home either. So I often thought about this. There's so many books, there's so many movies, there's so many things about, the one thing you're going to miss in life is the chances you didn't take, right? You see it a lot. And I thought, what about the flip side of that? What if you have pursued your dreams? What if you done everything you could and you are on your way to making your dreams? There is still a tax that you pay, right? It may not be, dreaming in your old age, I wish I would have done that. You've done it, but there's still something you let go of. So you kind of have to reconcile with these elements that you had to forsake in order to pursue your dream. And I think that to me, that's the core of this exhibit. There's a very famous Slovene, one of the most famous Slovene rock stars by the name of Magnifico, who's right there. It began as me just sending out these message in a bottle. I never thought anybody was going to write back. I mean, seriously, I wrote to like 80 people, I think. But anyways, some rejections came back. And they said, thanks, but no thanks, maybe next time. And then some people committed, like there's a portrait of Iggy Pop right there. I can tell you that the moment I woke up and opened my computer, I was an undergrad, and I got an email from Iggy Pop that says, you want a portrait? Boom, here's a photo. I remember walking into the kitchen and telling my wife, Tom, I was like, I just got an email from Iggy Pop. And she looked at me and said, who's Iggy Pop? I often start in a very similar process. And I think almost every one of these pieces in here began in the same process, which is there's always a study, a color study or a sketch or something. On a small scale, I figure out the composition, the colors, the layout, what I'm interested in. And then once in executed mode, we kind of take it even further. But it always begins with charcoal and coffee. I don't know why coffee. I think forever ago, I was being really cheap, and I just had it sitting next to me, and I just kind of dipped in there, and I went, and I realized, wow, it has so much power. There's so many things you can do with it. And believe it or not, that's coffee too. So if you get close enough, you could probably still smell coffee on it. And then it just becomes a question of how to manipulate the drying process of it. Do I want it to be really intense, which then means I gotta lay it down and let it really seep through the canvas, or am I just kind of staining it? I also use mostly house paint. I use enamel too. The portrait in the big silver one in the back, which happens to be a portrait of my wife, I can tell you, in my studio, there's a furnace right next to my table. Those colors are the warning labels on the furnace. Because I was like, I can't figure out of good colors. So I look at the furnace and I thought, it's got blue, orange, red, pink, black, silver. Let's just use that and see if I can figure it out. Anyways, I have to say that I think that this show is kind of coming home for me. It's humbling to see this many people here, and I can tell you that I can't think of it being in a better place than where it is.